Yeah, I think that if you look at the majority of hip hop dances, they came out of neighborhoods of immense poverty. So as long as struggle exists, there's always going to be that raw energy. Because you're either going to take a gun and go do some wild shit, or you're going to go pick up a basketball or football, or you're going to dance, you know? So that's always going to exist as long as there's struggle. But musically, I don't know if the music of today or in a couple of years is going to produce that same energy as the 70s. Because you think of the music to the 70s, it was so profound that it made people want to go to their heads. Like, that's crazy. You know,
Can you repeat that sentence, please?
Yeah, the music was so profound that it made the youth at that time like go to their head.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Before. Yeah, it wasn't done before.
So that music, the drums, on them James Brown records, and some of those records that they were dancing to. Now today, because I work with a lot of youth, and I see what they're listening to, and it's a complete 180 from that time period. To them, the less effort, the better the dances.
The less effort.
The better the dances.
Why? Why do you mean that? Why you mean that?
Okay, so right now I teach youth.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a conversation I had with someone else. But in America, we create so many pop culture dances, music, that we cannibalize things that we've already created.
You create something out of something else that was already.
Yes, but we're always creating. There's always a new dance, there's always a new song, there's always some new shit. So the concrete stuff that we built, which to me is breaking, popping, locking, and rocking, house, the shit that's like concrete that we created doesn't even matter to the youth. They're doing their own stuff that takes less effort, basically. They're not really,
I mean, I don't know much about new new dance new hip hop dance styles. When I was there, for me coming the first time to New York in last summer, when I was there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to New York. I'm gonna go to the Mecca of hip hop. What's up? And then I found, even with talking, like in the street, like they would, I met people. Oh, what are you doing here? Why New York? And then I explain a bit, and then I explain why. No, I'm interested because I break. Well, and some of them were looking at me. Oh, break, like what? That's from the 80s, man. Why you break?
Exactly.
And I wasn't in Manhattan. I'm talking about Brooklyn, in the even in I was living in Crown Heights, but when I was in the underground, I saw what was going on in New York, and then I saw out, and I saw what's going on in the street too, Union Square. And people are doing something else with another music, or that kind of thing, with light feet and with the caps and all these things. It's I don't know what I don't, it's something like, it's still labeled hip hop dance, evolution of hip hop freestyle. right? That came from the 90s, and they add so many things. But it is really far from breaking or from rocking.
Really.
It's really far, and the thing is that this thing, if we wait 10 years, they will still doing that.
No. You know, a lot of these dances, it doesn't have a strong foundation, doesn't have a strong history, so it just goes. But that's just a slight observation that I noticed just with all my years working with kids. You know, like when kids are very young, 4 years old, 5, 6, they're natural people to be girls. Once they hear that music, they throw themselves on the floor. They start doing 6-step, and no one even taught them how to do it.
I don't.
They just go that motion. So it's a natural thing.
Natural human being, no human thing.
Yeah. But when they get older, and they're now molded by society and what they've seen on TV and what music that's currently out right now, then all the parameters occur. So it takes time.
Yeah. You know, regarding the music, I heard that the Jamaicans used to, already in the 60s in the island, they used to extend some part of the songs. Like, let's say they use like the concept of the break that came out in New York later with Kool Herc, and they used to do it already in Jamaica, I heard. But after New York, I went the 2 times after New York that I went to New York. I went back to Cuba because I am always also inspired by Latin rhythms, and they did it too. Like, I went to a concert and they extended the rhythmic part. They did it the same. They also extended this rhythmic part, like to keep people. No, you don't stop. You stay steady. You don't stop. So when I experienced that, it came to my mind straight, like, whoa, that maybe is one of the reasons why they started to do that. And yeah, I had already heard that the Jamaicans were doing that before, in the 60s, and yeah.
I mean, that's normal. That's normal because, I mean, most people should know that, like, in the African American community, the Latin community, anyone that's colored or melanated, in our culture, the drum dictates music. So when you throw the illest drums on something, that's the part where people start going crazy. That's just normal music. Now, in American music, like Caucasian music, is more driven by the guitar,
Okay.
and that's why they don't really have too much rhythm.
You mean in like country
Rock and
music?
roll and shit.
What?
Yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Like modern day rock and roll. Not the shit. Not because rock and roll was started by black people. Chuck Berry, Sammy Davis Jr. Not that rock and roll. I'm talking about when they took in this Metallica, Motley Crue, these bands from the but any type of black music, you always heard the singer give the drummer a solo. James Brown was famous for it, but before James Brown, there was Little Richie, all these people. And if you listen to music from that time period, that's very normal.
You mean that there will always be a instrument, like a percussion solo?
Yeah. songs, and then you know. So, and that's historically where that came out of. You know, the DJs notice, oh, when this part of the song comes on, I notice people start, really start going in the parties. So we got to figure out a way to extend that part.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If you listen, like me personally, I'm listening to a lot of like older music because I rock.
To what?
I'm listening to a lot of like music from that time period in the '70s.
Yeah.
And when you listen to the whole albums,
Yeah.
like I was listening to Yellow Sunshine, you know Yellow Sunshine.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the whole album, it doesn't even make sense, the rest of it, compared to that song Yellow Sunshine. Because at that time, that's how bands made music. You know, they would sing, and it's probably normal, like a normal singing song, love song. Then at some point, 5 minutes in the song, 7 minutes in the song, you start hearing, and that's where we're just digging for different break beats came from and all that, because that was a normal format of music in the '70s.
Of music in the 70s. Yeah, sure. It's and for me it's interesting that that you have like rocking songs are not only from one particular country, because you have so many. It was the formula, not the country, actually, right?
Yeah.
Do you know? I was, Break Easy was saying to me that you have, for example, like English bands. Also, like he was naming to me, not only like, of course, we know like Latin bands and like Afro American bands, but also like European, like English and Spanish bands. For example, he was saying like that were used to rock in the 70s, and had that formula, and yeah, and what that was the music that that gave birth to the whole movement.
Yep.
Um,
The music is the number one thing.
yeah.
You know, music is something that's everlasting.
Mm.
It's something that provokes thought. It's something that has always been used as therapy. You know, for people.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that dance came out of that type of music.
I think uh, it is a therapy. Like nowadays, people are like nowadays, at least in Europe, I guess USA also the same. A lot of therapies are encouraged to people, like spa therapy, yoga, meditation, all these things. I appreciate all these things. I'm not saying I don't, but for a b-boy, um, that's your meditation. That should be. I think that should music and dance is as important for as important for as a as a therapy as yoga.
Yeah, definitely.
So you don't have to um follow other kind of therapy, which are a lot of them, and go to any person. You can do that, but I think we can and we should look at dance and music as a way of therapy, even as a way of enlightenment, or as a way of, I don't know, as a way of looking for inside of you and finding yourself, right? I don't know.
Yeah, that's how it is, man. It's like
This
you merge the music and you with yourself. But this is a more deeper conversation. But
yeah,
the music has to be made the right way. You know, like this shit that's out right now is cool. People listen to it. You know, makes money. But when you sit in your house, you're not gonna, after work, you had a long day at work. You're not gonna sit there and listen to Cardi B.
No, man. That's like 2 a.m. Saturday night when you are, that is the type of but it is music. You are not gonna listen to um you know uh a hard James Brown song when you arrive home from work because you are tired. You look for maybe something else, right?
One interesting thing about that, because so I've been listening to a lot of these older songs, but I try to turn off my dance brain
Yeah,
and listen to it as music.
yeah.
Because there's been times where I've been in the streets or I've been to like parties for very old people and they're playing Melting Pot.
Uh-huh.
They're playing certain songs, but it's not rocking music to them.
Yeah,
It's just music.
yeah.
And they're dancing, and me, I don't know if anyone rocking, you know? But to them, it's just normal music. Um, so I think the way music was composed back then was a lot different. And it served, it was more rhythmic, it had a better message. It was just, to me, better, I don't think that the break-in would have gone as far, let's just say, if it was developed in the 90s.
Yeah, but it didn't develop in the 90s because there wasn't the music, the conditions for that. It developed before, I guess. No, right? Because you cannot change like there is no reason to develop in the 90s with you know it developed this way because of everything at the same time, right? The music, the social conditions, the the decade,